Howdy crew, got the MOLLE organization truck seat panel with pouches for the welding rig. Let's do the unboxing. As y'all saw in a prior video, that there's all kinds of pouches and goodies in here, but I'm going to break it down and put it together so y'all can see what it looks like. There are going to be two different setups with the same equipment here, and I'll explain why that is. So I'm going to have one setup for the passenger seat and one setup for the driver's seat. As y'all will see in a short, that will be behind the driver's seat, and I will explain why in just a moment once I get all these baggies undone. So I'm gonna lay out all these pouches so y'all can see them. I apologize for the sirens and all the noises, but I do live in Los Angeles. And I do want to mention that this pouch that has this Velcro patch on, it's actually upside down when it gets here. So I flipped around on the other one, and I'm flipping it around on this one as well. Can't have the American flag upside down, that's just wrong. We're not in distress here, so cannot have the flag upside down. So, I'm gonna keep opening up all this good stuff. So there are 5 pouches that come with this. And then of course the MOLLE panel. Now I'm gonna explain why there's two different setups. One setup for the driver's seat and one setup for the passenger seat. This is to go around the headrest, and this to go around to the front of the seat. And if y'all have any trucks that have bottom parts of the seat that are open, that aren't for powered seats or anything like that, you can wrap this at the bottom. But if you slide it back and forth, or have a powered seat that does have an opening down there, it's Los Angeles. Been trying to film this vlog for several hours now, and this keeps happening, but it is what it is. So, anywho's, this part, if you have a powered seat and you have it hooked at the bottom instead of just around the seat itself, then you can actually tighten this too much and either damage this or the seat, whichever gives first, and I do not recommend doing that. So the panel is going to look like this. It's upside down for me, but it's right set up for y'all. So it's gonna look like this. This is the top, this is the bottom. And for the driver's seat, I have the IFAC up top and all the way to the right. But for behind the passenger seat, it's gonna be up top and all the way to the left. Reason being is because while I'm driving, say there's a wreck, I can unclip this, and it is rip away pouch. So this will be attached, this back part will be attached, but this can just be ripped off. It's a rip away pouch. So I just rip this off, either administer it to myself, or if someone is in the passenger seat, which the only person riding with me would be my very best friend, if we're gonna go work on a site together. So if I need to administer first aid myself or to my my best friend, I can do that with this first aid kit, this IFAC. And that's nice and easy, but this would not work if I have the exact same setup on the behind the driver's seat. That's why I have it over here. So if my very best friend is in the passenger seat, she can rip this off, either administer first aid to herself or to me, whoever needs it. And that way it's nice and easy to get to each one. So again, if it is here, my very best friend can rip this off, because it can be behind me. I can't reach behind me to grab this. She would be able to just rip it off, and she has a full IFAC. It's not just for me to be able to get to it, so that if I'm knocked out, what have you, she can reach and grab it. So that's the reason I have that there. The pictures show this pouch at the bottom of most of them, which is where I'm going to have it, because this will be kind of just a utility pouch, as most of these are. They're all utility pouches, but have some thicker stuff down at the bottom. I'm not going to have anyone riding in the back ever, so I'm not worrying about if someone's knees are going to be hitting this. The only reason someone would be in the back is if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and it's a 12-hour shift and it's going to be another 12 hours and I'm just gonna crash in the back. But that's the only reason someone would be in the back seat is if I'm gonna take a snooze or waiting for someone. I've been working several days straight, so that's the only reason someone be in the back. But otherwise, if there's more than one person in the truck, we're just going to trade driving turns. So other than that, it's all good. We got all of these, and let's see here, pouch for here. I have seen some where they lay them out, some of these at the bottom, but these aren't as thick, and this one is thicker, so I keep that one. I'm going to keep that one at the bottom. Then this will be over here. I'm going to probably keep this one right here, so that way if something needs to be brought in, that is such as when I was writing the rain notepads, I forgot if there's another name for it, but writing the rain notepads, I can either use this zipper, have some in here, or have it in the other one, because they go opposite directions. So I do really like that. If you're either reaching from the passenger seat or driver's seat, you're reaching across and being able to undo this, or if you're on the outside of the truck in the back seat compartment, you can reach in and open it that way. So I do like that. I do want to mention that also for the PALS webbing going on, MOLLE web, all that stuff, I just call it MOLLE. I went through that the other video. It's just easier to call it MOLLE. These are not exactly to size to where they would be how you'd normally do it. Some of these are, some of these aren't. So this one, obviously, you're gonna barely get it on here. So I do want to mention that. And then some of these are a little bit looser than what some of y'all may be used to, but as y'all know, some pouches have looser webbing, some have tighter webbing and straps. This one has these little buckles, which aren't as common, or these little, whatever you want to call them, little metal pieces. They're not as common, but they do work. I do know these do work, but it's not the same as having these other webbing pieces in here. So general layout is going to be something along the lines of this. Roundabout, it can move around. And the reason I am mostly going to lay it out this way is because if I have something bungeed in here, it could be a flashlight, something I could be able to just pull out, something needs to slide in here but needs to be retained. That's what I'm kind of looking at. Also, I want plenty of room to be able to rip this off. So since this is going on the passenger seat, I want plenty of room to rip this off. I don't want this piece here taking up a lot of room and then it getting caught on anything. I want plenty of room. If there's an emergency, this needs to be ripped off. There'll obviously be more stuff as a first aid kit for the job site, but a lot of it's going to be in here, so that way someone can just reach in through the back and rip these off, or someone's in the front, open up a front door, see these, rip them off. It's kind of all around thing, and that's why I'm laying it out this way. So a little bit closer in. And this over here, if something needs to be looped in here, I can do that. There's a little bit extra room, so I'm gonna go ahead and start on it and yeah, just get going. And I do like starting from the top down, because if I were to start at the bottom, when you're trying to get these final pieces snapped in and you have something already down here, it is tougher. That's why whenever I'm doing MOLLE and going through all this stuff, I have it upside down to start, going through, weave it back and forth, and that way at the end, there's nothing here in my way. I can snap these in. Also, I do want to mention, these are, like I said earlier, a little bit on the looser end compared to some pouches and whatnot. If you do a lot of the MOLLE webbing and MOLLE, whether it be backpacks, anything, rucksacks, anything like that, you will know that your fingers could get tired. If it's brand new stuff, heavy duty, this isn't the heaviest duty, but it's not going to be out in the field, drug through mud, anything like that. Although this part feels like it could be. These are a little bit looser, but they'll still do the job. I don't think they'd have any issue with that. But if y'all ever have the pouches that are super heavy duty and super stiff, much stiffer than these to where it almost feels like a board for it being that stiff, your fingers will get used to it eventually if you do it a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on through. And if y'all have never done MOLLE before, then it will take a little bit getting used to it. Sometimes you do things upside down. Sometimes you miss one of these. So it takes a little while for some newbies to it, but it's not that bad. Get used to it fairly quickly. And yes, there is this part. I do want to mention also that it opens up. You can store some other flat stuff in there. I'm not really going to use that ever because it'd be too cumbersome with all the pouches on here. Opening it, I don't want to rely on that. So let me get everything snapped in here. And I don't know if these were all made in China. The Maker, M-A-I-K-E-R brand, they have the exact same pictures as this on Temu. As I told y'all before, these were from Temu. Instead of buying it from Maker, it was $85.99 per panel with pouches on Maker's website. On Temu, I waited for a long time for it to get down, and each panel with all pouches, each panel with the pouches, not both of them, just one package of these, was $20.33. So I do like that. And I skipped one. That's what I don't like about some of these. It looks like you skipped one, whether you did or didn't. And looks like I can weave through one more. So I'm gonna scoot the whole pouch up. They're not to size that I would like it. That's why it looks off to me. Maybe if y'all had these, y'all might think they're a little bit more proper size, but to me, they don't look like they are the proper spacing in between some of these. That's just personal opinion. I do like those tight fit mollies to where everything lines up and it's super tight fit. It's not going anywhere, but that's just from personal experience and personal opinion. That's not saying that this won't work. I believe it will, but it's just a little bit looser on the measurement standards, in my opinion. Again, that's just my opinion. If y'all buy this and see it differently, then write in the comments, let me know, because I'm curious. I do like how tight the webbing is on the panel. I will say that. That is very nice. I do like tight webbing. And y'all will get used to it. The pinching, if you're new to the MOLLE system and you're doing all pinching and pulling, your fingers could be sometimes raw. If you get the really, really good stuff and you're doing a lot of it, then you have that possibility. But after you get used to it, it's no big deal on the fingers, but it still might take a little while getting everything hooked together. All right, so that's good now. Again, this is gonna be on the passenger seat, so that way if I need it, I rip it off. And again, I don't care if these are super thick going out, because no one's ever gonna be in the back unless I'm all by myself and I'm crashing in the back. But if there's someone else with me in the car, it's just, or truck, excuse me, in the welding rig truck, it's just driving back to the yard or to the next site. It's just trade off from driver's seat to passenger seat and getting things done. So I'm gonna go put this one all the way over here. And the reason I'm doing that is to give space in case there is something I want in here for some reason. I'm not imagining anything at the moment, but I'm not discounting the possibility. So that's why I give it a little extra room. There we go. And these do go a bit faster than some of the others because, again, these are a little bit looser on standards on the thickness of the straps. Not saying that they're bad quality, but if y'all ever have MOLLE webbing and use something that has the thick straps, y'all will know that it does take longer, because you gotta loosen it up a little bit, get things molded the way you want it, where it's not just a board. Go ahead, do this last little bit before snapping this one, and it's not going nowhere. There we go. So I do have a little bit of playroom here to where if I need something just weaved in here, whether it be another pouch or just something that can be here, pens, markers, anything like that, I can just put that right there. So this piece will go right here and right there. It almost looks like it could be 4 total, but it does fit better 3-wise. So again, it's those, I would say, a little bit laxed standards, and I don't like just the looseness of these. I like it when they're super tight together and each one matches up, but that's just personal preference. These do work well in other situations though. I will throw that out there. So let's see. Up some now, because if we have it super tight right here, then it won't fit down here. So you got to scoot this back up, then feed it through. Same thing with the other one. And then it will line up once you're getting towards the end. Just got to shake them a little bit, adjust them, whatnot, but it will work. And again, I do like this panel. It is very nice and tight webbing. I do like that tightness. It works very well in my opinion. This looseness right here is what I don't care for. This much openness. I do get that it tears up the fingers more if you're not used to it, if they're very tight. But once you get used to it, it does work a lot better. It keeps things so much snugger, but these feel pretty darn snug as it is. It's just more probably personal preference, if you want to call it a pet peeve, if you will. But personal preference, I do like it snugger. All right, these will finally get snapped. All right, so that one is nice and secure. We got an American flag there. And then this will work just fine. These will be kind of tight together, but it will work just fine. This one, bungee system, I do like it. And it opens up more on one side than the other, which I can't help. If this is the other one, it's on the driver's side. I can't really help that it opens away from it. Same thing with this one, except for it will open if you're on the passenger side, which this one is for the passenger side. It opens so you can see everything more. That's just the design of the pouch. That's not something I can really help. And again, I'm going to keep this down. It's not going to be right smacked up against this one like this one is. One, because it's not as big, but also I want the eye effect to clear, no problem. And I don't want it hanging up on things if the situation warrants its need. And these are a little bit off as well in my opinion, but again, that's just my opinion. All right. try and sneak it through on this one and then slide it down. We'll see how well that works. I believe that will work just fine. Same thing with this one without losing the strap. That's always fun. Not really. There we go. Then feed it through. Pull this strap back out. Make sure we don't lose this strap. And send this in through here. Oh, sorry. I didn't even feed it through. That was my mistake. There we go. Try not to lose that end. All right. I don't know if y'all have seen these MOLLE panels before, but I really like the looks of it. I think it looks cool. I'm looking forward to using it and having everything nice and organized. This one, it's not a rip away. I know it has the buckles up front, but that's just to keep everything tight in here. As you can see, that don't come off. It's just for this to be, it will be bigger or smaller and keep it nice and tight, strapped down. And I do also want to mention that this can also be a bit of a shoulder bag. And I think it can also be a bit of a butt pack as well. Yeah, so you can use this as a butt pack, a fanny pack thing, or you can use it as a shoulder strap to have this thing going around. I'm not going to be using that. I'm just going to have this strapped down. Again, it is interesting with these little metal pieces, but it works just fine, especially for the application it's going to be used in. I'm going to strap these up so they're not in the way. All right, I'm going to have these pretty much centered for now. If any adjustment needs to come later, just say I have another pouch that needs to go in here and this can move over some, then I will do that. But for right now, I'm not seeing that happening, at least not instantly. So won't be able to see this very long, I assume, but it feeds through one metal piece, then through the next one. Not sure how well it'll show up for the second one, putting it in there, but I'll try and show it. So it goes through, and as you all can see, it's not a strap. That's the thickness here, the width of going through it like this on here, but it's still a metal piece, so it's still holding it on there. And for this application, I think it's gonna hold just fine. And send it through. Back on here. Feed it through the next one. And it will snap. Same thing here. Feed it through and snap. It could fit through another one if I had a little bit higher up, but I don't want it higher up because everything's packed here. I do want to leave room for this, as you all have already heard me say several times. So this can have all kinds of good stuff in it. The full, and then have this to keep it from, it's not really going to stick out too much. It's not necessary in my opinion, but if you have it fairly empty, then these are a little bit more necessary. Keep it strapped up. But again, not going to have anyone in the back, as I mentioned before, unless I'm all by myself and I need to take a snooze. But if there's anyone else in the vehicle, just going to trade off driving the welding rig to a site or back to the yard from a site. So that way it's no stopping or anything like that. But that's the panel. If you all want to see more about it or have any questions about it, go ahead and put that in the comment section. Hope you all enjoy, and this is what it's going to look like. This is the top. This is the bottom. And let me know what you all think. Do you know of any better panels out there? Better price, better quality, anything, everything? I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts. This will be going in the welding rig soon, so I will let you all know when it happens. Obviously vlog it for y'all because this is awesome. We got some more room, might put another pouch, and yeah, let me know what y'all think might be good for going here, if it should stay open. What are y'all's thoughts? I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts. And I'll be looking forward to seeing y'all in the next vlog. All right, stay safe. Have a good one.